Welcome to the Go for Broke National Education Center's 23rd Annual Evening Aloha Gala Dinner. To guide us through this special celebration, we're pleased to have two talented hosts tonight. The first host is no stranger to our gala or to our organization. He is highly accomplished with 32 Emmy Awards, 13 Edward R. Murrow Awards, and is the 2024 Broadcaster of the Year and top anchor in America. Introducing David Ono.
This is ABC7 Los Angeles. Now, David Ono.
When David was on vacation in Hawaii last year, breaking news found him.
Behind me is a classic Lahaina neighborhood.
One of David's most important collaborations, defining courage, a fully immersive experience telling the story of Asian American soldiers in World War II.
The one thing I think that many of you have not been able to experience yet is actually going to the battlefields. Tree bursts.
You can't breathe. You just kind of curl up in a ball.
It's really history coming alive.
With all those accomplishments, I think it's pretty easy to understand why David Ono was named Anchor of the Year by Broadcasting and Cable.
Joining David tonight is stand-up comedian, actor, granddaughter of a World War II veteran, and host of the Go for Broke National Education Center's video series, Living the Nisei Dream. Introducing Sierra Katow.
How does the country know with deep American roots?
This is my great-grandfather, my great-grandmother, and this is where my grandfather's name is.
Use her family's generational stories to debunk stereotypes on stage.
My grandfather fought in the war to prove that, hello, I will still fight for my country, even when my own country is mistreating and taking the homes from and putting my own family in horse stalls to sleep for the night. I started comedy at 16, and then people were like, oh, that's so brave. It's like, some of these guys were 16 when they enlisted. Recently, I've been working with the nonprofit Go for Broke National Education Center. It is a thing of echoing that mission, that we belong here, and I think it's kind of nice to know that you had people fighting for the same thing long ago.
Please give a warm welcome to David and Sierra.
Hi, everybody. Hi, Sierra. Great to do this with you. Welcome. And you saw that Defining Courage, we started that here with this event, and I'm so thankful for that. And I've learned everything in that show I learned from you guys. So this is really special, having this opportunity to do this again with you tonight, something I look forward to every year. And this year I get to do it with Sierra. And it's nice to be with you, Sierra, and be joined by you. It's a special and inspirational night of celebration for all of us with our World War II heroes, their families, and all of you. It is so wonderful to see a room full of families and familiar faces, new faces as well. We have so many more people here tonight than previously, so we're super proud about that, and all of whom are gathered to remember and honor the Nisei veterans, their legacy. And I promise tonight will be another moving and inspirational program, and I'm especially excited to be hosting with Sierra, who will soon learn that she really does live the Nisei Dream. And again, thank you, Sierra.
Wow, all right, well, thank you, David, everybody. I was gonna play it cool, but it's David Ono, guys. Pretty starstruck. Yeah, right? Let's hear it for him. So, like many of you, this is my third evening of Aloha Gala that I've attended. And as a Yonsei, or fourth generation Japanese American, it's always just very humbling to be among the Nisei veterans. My grandfather, my Ji-chan, served in the MIS, and I can only imagine how different my life, our community, and our democracy would have been if it weren't for their courage, patriotism, and sacrifice. Being involved in Go for Broke National Education Center has really strengthened my understanding and just gratitude for what the Nisei generation did for all of us. So I know that when you all leave here tonight, you will do so with a deeper understanding and appreciation for this remarkable generation.
Beautifully said, Sierra. And your involvement, it's so important with our organization. It reflects how Go for Broke National Education Center continues to bring the core story of the Nisei soldiers to younger and more diverse audiences across the nation. And that's a key point. For those who know me, my work with the Nisei Veterans has enriched my cultural identity as a Japanese American and community member. My projects have had a powerful impact on my life, especially the Defining Courage show I mentioned, which, by the way, premiered 2019 Evening of Aloha. I'm so thankful for that. And I too share in your gratitude for what this generation has given us all. So let us now formally begin this hallmark event with the traditional hosting of the colors by members of the 100th Battalion, 442nd Infantry Regiment Honor Guard from Hawaii. The battalion is the only infantry unit in the U.S. Army Reserves. The unit has been deployed twice to Iraq and was awarded the Meritorious Unit Citation with oak leaf clusters. The members proudly wear the 442nd shoulder insignia and carry on the legacy of the Japanese American soldiers of World War II. So this year, we are joined by Honor Guard members from Hawaii, and here they are. We have Staff Sergeant James Featherston, Specialist Lanson Mondina, Sergeant Leland MacArthur, and Specialist Vanessa Taloso. So please stand, if you are able, while the Honor Guard posts the colors, and remain standing for a very special national anthem, which will be performed by Kendall Sayuri Yokoyama. So please join us, Honor Guard.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land and of the free, and the home of the brave.
Post the colors.
Wow, you all may be seated. Thank you so much. Now that is how to begin our gala in style. Yeah, let's hear it for everyone. So Kendall, who just performed the national anthem, just so you all know, she is currently playing the lead role of Eliza in the national tour of the Broadway show Hamilton. Yeah, at the Pantages Theater in Hollywood. So pretty incredible. And then also she is the granddaughter and grandniece of 2 World War II veterans, Yoshio Mike Kubota and Sadaichi Kubota. So many connections there. Amazing. So Kendall has actually been part of Go for Broke, the Go for Broke Monument Anniversary Virtual Tributes, and in our special version of America the Beautiful. So don't worry, we will be hearing more from her and her beautiful voice after dinner. David?
Sierra, I love this year's theme. It's Living the Nisei Veterans Dream, and because you are the host of the namesake of this video series, you know it means that the veterans dreamt of a nation in which they could experience equality and justice, a place where their children and grandchildren could be whatever they wanted to be. And that's an important point.
Totally. Many of the people whom we will be hearing from tonight are actually descendants of Japanese American soldiers of World War II, like Kendall, like myself. And we also are currently pursuing careers in fields that like our jichans or bachans or great uncles or whoever could only dream of. But you don't have to be a descendant of a veteran, nor even Japanese American for that matter, to appreciate how the generations before us worked to secure the dreams of freedom and liberty for future generations. So tonight, we dedicate this dinner to their dreams and their hopes.
That's beautiful. And one of the most treasured gala traditions is the Nisei Veteran Roll Call. So with us tonight are 5 veterans who are keeping their promise to represent their fellow soldiers who did not come home or are no longer with us today. And I am honored to introduce on stage our first veteran, Edward Nakamura. Edward Nakamura is escorted by his friend George J. Tanaka, Go for Broke board chair George Henning as well, Torchbearer Maddie Alt, and Honor Guard member Sergeant Leela MacArthur. And here's more on his story.
Edward Nakamura served in the Military Intelligence Service as Staff Sergeant T3 in post-war Japan, where he proudly earned his wings as part of the 11th Airborne Division, 188th Parachute Division in Sendai, Japan. While his family was incarcerated at Minizoko concentration camp, Mr. Nakamura attended high school in Weiser, Idaho, after joining his older brother, who was working on a dairy farm. A talented athlete, he was popular as a basketball player and a star, and he was warmly received by his classmates. He was drafted at 18, and Mr. Nakamura recalls receiving a warm send-off by the high school marching band as his train departed for training camp. A graduate of UCLA, he worked at Hughes Aircraft Company for 37 years in their finance department. At age 99, he continues his service with active public appearances throughout the year. He also enjoys gardening and watching all sports from the Lakers, Clippers, Dodgers, Rams, and Chargers. Mr. Ed Nakamura.
Amazing, thank you, Maddie. Also with us this evening is veteran Tokuji Tok Yoshihashi. He is escorted by his daughter, Pauline Yoshihashi, Go for Broke board member Stephen Kagawa, Honor Guard member Staff Sergeant James Featherston, and here to speak more, Torchbearer Rodrigo Herrera.
During the war, Toshi Tok Yoshihashi was a member of the 142nd Regiment combat team. As a technical sergeant, he would earn 2 Bronze Star medals: the Sharpshooter Medal, Congressional Medal of Honor, Presidential Unit Citation, and France's Legion of Honor. Mr. Yoshihashi was drafted out of Gila River concentration camp in Arizona, and after basic training, he boarded the Queen Mary to join the famed 100th Infantry Battalion, a company in Epinal, France. Despite facing heavy combat, he fondly recalls the excitement of participating in the march down Constitution Avenue in June 1946 before President Truman. Mr. Yoshihashi retired after 27 years as an electrician for the Department of Water and Power, and at the age of 101, he enjoys watching Shohei and the Dodgers, tending to his hummingbirds and cats, and spending time with his family. Mr. Toki Yoshihashi.
Our third veteran tonight is Mary Tamura, who is escorted by her daughter, Barbara Tamura, Go for Broke Board Vice Chair George Tanaka, Torchbearers Stephanie Aguilar, and Honor Guard Member Specialist Vanessa Tolosa. Here's more.
While incarcerated at Gila River Concentration Camp in Arizona, Mary Tamura worked as a nurse's corps aide in the camp hospital. Like other women eager to prove their loyalty, she was accepted into the St. Mary's School of Nursing in Rochester, Minnesota, as part of the U.S. Armed Forces Cadet Nurse Corps program. Out of 50 women, she and five other Nisei women studied and trained rigorously. After the war, Mrs. Tamura met her husband, Robert Tamura, a talented artist and MIS veteran. She would earn her BA in nursing at San Francisco State and has continued her love of service and helping people to this day. Tonight, in her first evening of Aloha appearance on stage, and at age 100 years, she proudly represents the nearly 500 Japanese American women who served in the Women's Army Corps, Army Nurse Corps, and Cadet Nurse Corps. Miss Mary Tamura.
Thank you. And our fourth veteran is Hachiro Hutch Miyawaki. Hutch is escorted by his nephew, Gerald Miyawaki, Go for Broke board member Derek Izumo, Torchbearer Michael Murata, and Honor Guard member specialist Lanson Mondina. More from Torchbearer member Lynn.
Hachiro Hutch Miyawaki enlisted in the U.S. Army while his family was incarcerated in Jerome, Arkansas. Mr. Miyawaki had an older brother and one brother-in-law in the 442nd, and one brother and one brother-in-law in the Military Intelligence Service. Born in Hanford, California, Hutch would become a member of the MIS following his training at Camp Savage. In November 1944, he was sent to the Philippines and later to occupied Japan. When his military service ended, he served an additional 6 years as a civilian in Japan. Mr. Miyawaki graduated from Northwestern University in 1956 and worked in the insurance industry for nearly 3 decades. He currently lives in Gardena, California, and is making his first appearance at our gala tonight. At 99 years of age, he enjoys spending time with his extended family, who are all with him tonight from as far away as Chicago and Hawaii. Mr. Hachiro Hutch Miyawaki.
Thank you. And our fifth veteran is Yoshio Nakamura. He's escorted by his daughter, Linda Oberholzer, Torchbearer, and his grandniece, Kimmy Look, and Go for Broke board member Kimberly Tachiki Chin, and U.S. Marines Corporal Justin Emmy, a fourth-generation service member and grandson of a 442nd veteran. All right, more from Kimmy.
At 99 years of age, Yoshio Nakamura does not deem to slow down, as he feels it is his responsibility to tell the Nisei Veterans story on behalf of the soldiers who did not make it home. He enlisted out of Gila River concentration camp and served as a staff sergeant in the 442nd's L&M companies, where he fought in the defining Gothic Line campaign. He earned a Bronze Star, Congressional Gold Medal, Presidential Unit Citation, and Francis Legion of Honor. After the war, Mr. Nakamura continued his service to others as a high school and college art teacher and retired as Vice President of Community Services and Institutional Development from Rio Hondo College. A talented artist, Yosh showcased over 70 pieces of his artwork at the Whittier Art Gallery last October, and most recently, a Whittier High School Arts Building was named in his honor after his notable service as an educator. Mr. Yoshio Nakamura.
All right. Those are our veterans, Ed Nakamura, Tok Yoshihashi, Mary Tamura, Hutch Miyawaki, and Yosh Nakamura. Those are our heroes. Thank you all for being here with us tonight.
Thank you, guys. Thank you so much. And you'll see more of them later on tonight. We appreciate it. And thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for the recognition. So, in the U.S. Congress, there are two representatives who are the direct descendants of Japanese-American World War II veterans. We'll be hearing from one of them, Congressman Mark Takano, later this evening. The second descendant is Congresswoman Jill Takuda. Prior to being in the U.S. Congress, she served 12 years in the Hawaii State Legislature, elected in 2022 to serve the 2nd Congressional District of Hawaii. She is a yonsei and the proud granddaughter of Roland Takasato, who served with the Military Intelligence Service. She also had an uncle, George Kakazu, who served with the 442nd, and another uncle, Ben Kakazu, who served with 100th. And all of that before her political career, Congresswoman Takuda was the executive director of the Nisei Veterans Memorial Center on Maui, thus her deep connection with the Nisei soldier. And although she could not be with us in person, she sent this special message from Washington, D.C. So here is Jill Takuda.
Aloha, go for broke ohana. While community and family commitments keep me from being with you today, please know that as a yonsei of Uchinanchu descent, the granddaughter and niece of MIS 442nd and 100th Battalion soldiers, I am forever grateful for the work that you do. You know, growing up, one of the very first times I remember my grandparents talking to me about our family's wartime experience involved this picture behind me. My Gigi painted this picture while he was in an internment camp. He was taken from Pu'unene on Maui to Honouliuli on Oahu, to Sharp Park in California, and then finally to Santa Fe, New Mexico. You know, all the while he was there, his son, my grandfather, was serving in the Military Intelligence Service, fighting for a country that had locked his father up and saw him as the enemy. This is a common story for so many of us here tonight. On the civilian side, my grandmother would often talk about the caves in Okinawa and the devastation to our homeland. You know, what she didn't share with me when I was growing up, but that I would later learn as an adult, was how Japanese American soldiers were the ones who saved countless Okinawan lives during the final moments of the war. Our American experience is a complicated one. But still, at its core, it's always been and has been about the sacrifice and teaching of our Issei and Nisei that came before us. The dream they had of a better life for their family and the responsibility we have to carry on their legacy of service to country and community with humility, perseverance, and gratitude. As a kid, I often wondered what my Gigi was thinking when he painted that painting. What was the deer looking at? Or was the deer his way of seeing beyond the barbed wire fences? As an adult, I now look at this painting here in the Capitol at my office, and I think of just one word: gaman. To face unbearable adversity with dignity and honor, with perseverance and resilience. There are so many difficult moments in all of our complicated American lives. But thanks to the work of the Go for Broke National Education Center, keeping our stories, our history, our experiences alive, we are always reminded of the sacrifices made on our behalf and the need for us to move forward with gaman, just as they did. Mahalo again to all of you for your contributions and your commitment to our Japanese American community, and I truly hope to see you all very soon. Oh, and by the way, you have one of our very best chefs from Hawaii cooking your dinner. So please tell Chef he still needs to come back home. We don't want him to stay away. But in the meantime, tonight you are in for quite the culinary treat. Aloha, everyone.
Absolutely. Well put. Thank you, Congresswoman Takuda, for your message, and aloha. And we look forward to seeing you in person in the coming years. So now, here to share a message from Go for Broke National Education Center's Board of Directors, please welcome Board Chair, Mr. George Henning.
Good evening. It's great to see all of you here this evening. And on behalf of the leadership of Go for Broke National Education Center, let me extend a heartfelt thank you to all of the 2024 Evening of Aloha sponsors, donors, guests. We appreciate your generous and dedicated support of this year's gala. My first gala was 25 years ago or more down at the Paradise Cove restaurant, I believe it was, in Torrance. And I was introduced to Go for Broke through a dear friend, Manabe Hirosaki. And over the years, as I got to know more about it, he expressed his concern that I know is part of the concern of all the veterans, that their legacy might be forgotten. And in a moment of weakness, I told him, I'll see what I can do. I certainly didn't expect to be standing up here in front of you this evening. But the story is very important. And we want to keep the story of the Japanese American veterans of World War II alive. And I'm grateful for this opportunity to keep that promise. I would like to ask all the current members of our Board of Directors in attendance tonight to please stand and be recognized. Vice Chair George Tanaka, Secretary Jeff Maloney, Treasurer Derek Izumo, former Board Chair and current Board Member Stephen Kagawa, Stacy Toji, Kimberly Takichi Chin, and of course Roy Yamaguchi, who's working out in the kitchen, and David Ono, who's your MC this evening. I know that some of our former board members are also here, and we'd like to take a moment to recognize them and ask them to please stand as well. And finally, there's one more person whom I would like to recognize, because without him, we would not be in Little Tokyo, nor would we be in the middle of construction of our new building. Our former executive director and president, Don Dose, was instrumental in helping us develop the vision that has been realized over the last several years and continues today. And I'd like to recognize Don Dose and ask him to stand for recognition. Again, thank you very much, and please enjoy the evening.
Thank you, George. Well, it's my pleasure to introduce someone who knows the meaning of service to our country. U.S. Congressman Mark Takano of the 39th District, which serves the residents of Riverside, Moreno Valley, Jurupa, and Paris. He is the ranking member of the House Committee on Veteran Affairs and a member of the Education and Workforce Committee. Well, just over 2 years ago, President Biden signed Honoring Our Pact Act into law, the largest expansion of veterans' benefits in decades. And since its enactment, more than 1.1 million claims for veterans exposed to burn pits and other toxic substances have been approved. As chairman of the Veterans Affairs Committee, he introduced and managed passage of this landmark legislation in the 117th Congress. So this law helps to provide generations of veterans and their survivors with care and benefits that they have earned and deserve. So Congressman Takano has been a longtime supporter of Go for Broke National Education Center. He had 3 great uncles who served with the 442nd, one of whom was killed in action 5 months before the end of the war. He understands the words of duty, sacrifice, and service, and we are honored to have him join us today, a huge supporter of Go for Broke. Please welcome Congressman Mark Takano.
Thank you, David. I'm honored to be here with all of you, especially with our 5 Nisei veterans. As David mentioned, I had 3 great uncles who served in the 442nd. Their courage, sacrifice have always been a point of inspiration for me. It is the reason that I serve in the House of Representatives. It is the reason that I authored the PACT Act, a law that will ensure that our responsibility to care for the veterans of our military is never forgotten. When I first came to Congress, I met with General Eric Shinseki, who reminded me that I would not be here in Congress today were it not for the sacrifice of the Nisei soldiers. I believe it is important to notice history, but to do it with remembrance. And in remembering what these soldiers did for America, it is critical that we remember that not all of them came home after the war. Additionally, in the time since World War II, the vast majority of these soldiers have passed. With their memory in mind, it is my privilege to direct your attention to the missing soldiers' table in front of the stage. The table is round to show our everlasting concern for our fallen and missing. The white tablecloth symbolizes the purity of their intentions to respond to their country's call to arms. A single red rose reminds us of the life of each of our fallen, and the vase is tied with a red ribbon as a symbol of our commitment to remember our fallen. The slices of lemon on the plate remind us of the bitter fate of those who did not return. And the inverted glass is because they cannot toast with us at this time. The empty chair is because they are no longer with us. And the pinch of salt symbolizes the tears endured by the friends and families of those who have fallen. So, I ask that you raise a glass with me and toast in their honor for their ultimate sacrifice. At this time, we would like to acknowledge all of the military veterans who are present here tonight. All of the veterans of our military service, please stand up and be recognized. Will all currently serving personnel please stand and be recognized? And will all current and past first responders please stand and be recognized? We are humbled and grateful for your service to our country. Thank you for answering the call, protecting our nation, and preserving our democracy.
Thank you, Congressman Takano, for your words, your poignant words of gratitude, and for your dedicated work in carrying on the legacy of the Japanese American soldiers. So an important part of our gala program is the recognition of the World War II veterans who passed away since our last gala. It is a sobering reminder of what has been lost, but it is also why we must all work together so that their sacrifice is not in vain. So, to help us pay tribute to our veterans and performing Aloha Oi is multiple Grammy Award winner and very dear friend to our organization, Daniel Ho. Daniel will be accompanied by Kumu Kiali'i Sabalos and Stacy Kanani Toji from Halau Hula Kiali'i o Nalani.
Ha'ahel kauai na pali ke nihi a elai ka na hele e hahai anapai kaliko pua hihilehua o uka aloha oe aloha ke ona noho I kalipo one fond embrace aho ia e au until we meet
Absolutely beautiful. Beautiful. Thank you for that beautiful tribute to our veterans. And at this moment, it is also appropriate for us to acknowledge the recent passing of Sergeant First Class Jordan Kagehiro, who was a member of the 100th Battalion, 442nd Infantry Regiment Honor Guard from Hawaii. A deputy sheriff in Honolulu, Sergeant Kagehiro participated in 3 previous evening of Alohas, and we share our condolences with his family and the members of his unit. We know, however, that he is here in spirit with us tonight. Aloha, Sergeant Kagehiro. Mahalo for your service.
So, over 80 years ago, our veterans felt the responsibility to take care of our community and the nation. They fought for the highest ideals of America and for our future. So, in 1999, under the leadership of Colonel Young Ok Kim, our founding veterans came together to build a monument with the construction expertise of Bruce Kato and the political support of city leaders. The Go for Broke Monument will forever stand as a tribute to what the Nisei veterans did during and after the war. However, for 25 years, this really beautiful monument sort of stood alone in the middle of a giant asphalt parking lot in downtown LA, but that is until this very year. Because with the help of our community partner, Little Tokyo Service Center, We broke ground this February on a significant project which will serve the needs of Go for Broke National Education Center, the Little Tokyo District, and the City of Los Angeles. But instead of telling you about it, let's just show you.
December 7th, 1941, a date which will live in infamy. The United States of America was suddenly and deliberately attacked by naval and air forces of the Empire of Japan.
Sunday morning, I was strolling the street after breakfast, and I see puffs of smoke up in the sky towards Pearl Harbor. So I told myself, gee, what the heck is going on?
All I knew in my 10-year-old mind is that, oh, they're going to land and shoot us and kill us. That's all I thought. I was so scared. I ran into the house. And so that's when our lives changed.
That night, about 11 o'clock, 3 FBI men came. They took my father away.
Even though you're an American, when you're a Japanese American, suddenly you feel like, I'm the enemy.
All GIs of Japanese blood were all pulled together in certain tents, and our own friends were outside of us with rifles, you know. Our rifle was taken away.
Around Portland, Seattle, San Francisco, Los Angeles, they all had to go to concentration camps.
If we remain in the internment camp and did nothing, it would forever be branded for people not being loyal.
This recruiter came around and said that they would take us in. I was so dang happy.
We're a group of people, Nisei soldiers, that didn't have to serve, but wanted to serve and did serve.
I did it because I really wanted to. There was no second thought, no nothing.
We knew that we were so good that we were requested by other units to serve as shock troops or assault troops.
Airbursts would come over, and we lost several people there.
The 442nd and the 100th Battalion both didn't seem to have impossible in their vocabulary.
Colonel Kim and Buddy Mamiya and a few others, they said we should start building a monument, something we could be proud of, something that the future generation can be proud of.
I was introduced to Colonel Kim, 1997 maybe, and asked me if I would be interested in building a monument.
I want the American people, when they see the monument, to feel good. It's an American story, because these people were Americans.
When we created the monument, people said, why are you building a monument in the middle of a parking lot? They always had the vision that, no, that's a developable piece of land that we can build something next to it.
We are most proud to partner with Go for Broke National Education Center to make this project happen. And we're overjoyed that it will provide the kind of setting that this monument deserves.
Now the monument will be the cornerstone of the Go for Broke Plaza, an innovative mixed-use development that combines affordable housing, legacy businesses, and a permanent new home for Go for Broke National Education Center. This is an additional footprint to our current Defining Courage exhibit in the historic Nishi-Hongwanji Buddhist Temple.
In our new space, we will continue to bring the Japanese-American soldier story of World War II to new audiences, to multicultural and intergenerational audiences from across the nation. Help them to make the connections between the past and contemporary issues of social justice and democracy. It's going to change the landscape of this block that had been a vibrant part of Little Tokyo.
A versatile space for local, national, and international events, town halls, workshops, visiting exhibits, community events, and so much more.
Recapturing, reinvigorating, and addressing the needs of our city. The Go for Broke Plaza symbolizes our gratitude to the veterans who came before us.
16,000 names of veterans, men and women, will be added to the monument wall of service, thus honoring all Japanese Americans who served in the military during World War II.
Okage-sama de. Because of you, we are.
The new building really represents a new chapter for Go for Broke National Education Center. Really a place for future generations to demonstrate courage, sacrifice, and service like the Japanese American veterans did 80 years ago.
It's the embodiment of an American legacy and a commitment to our future where we continue to embrace diversity, freedom, and equality.
I can't even explain in words how important this is for our future.
The project represents more than just bricks and mortar. It's a symbol of hope, resilience, and justice.
100 years from now, it's going to be a bigger story, and I think it's going to be more important.
Keep the legacy going. We have to, forever, you know.
Thank you. It's beautiful, isn't it? Exciting, a permanent home for Go for Broke, plus our monument will no longer be alone in the middle of that parking lot. It's like it was meant to be. It will all come together beautifully. The building will be completed at the end of 2026. The Nisei veterans were indeed bold and visionary, just like this project. And just a reminder, if you haven't done so yet, be sure to check out the unique merchandise at our Go for Broke store, in the lobby during dinner and after the program. And I also want to mention that with us tonight is one of our most popular Go for Broke store collaborators, Roy and Christy Kuroyanagi from Japangeles. Roy, Christy, where are you guys? Anybody spot them? Help me spot. Oh, there they are, right up front. Love it. Great to have you guys. Recently, we were talking to them about a new apparel design, and we were excited to announce a brand new Japangeles and Go for Broke Nisei Soldier streetwear line of tees and hoodies. In fact, we're going to show some pictures so you can see it up on the screen right here. You are all are the first to see the new line, and you also have the first opportunity to be pre-orders or pre-order it today. Well, maybe don't have that. You'll find it out in the lobby as well. Pre-order it today through September 21st. Use the QR code in your program or on screen to purchase the exclusive Nisei Soldiers tees and hoodies, which will make excellent holiday gifts. I'll tell you one thing that I like to do when I travel to France, and we go to eastern France and into the Vosges forest and get to Briere and stuff like that, and all those folks who cherish and worship the Nisei Soldier, we bring them some of this apparel, and it's like treasure to them. They absolutely love it, and yet you have it in your own neighborhood. So take advantage of this opportunity for you. Support Roy and Japangeles. Thank you very much, Roy and Christy.
How are you guys doing? Okay, that was really cool. Make sure to check out those sweatshirts. I'm coming to you at the really awesome, intimate setting of this closer stage because, you know, today it's a fundraiser, right? So let's hear it for that. It's a fundraiser, guys. No. So I'm just getting a little closer just so you can all, you know, to urge you all to please consider contributing a little bit, you know, contributing a lot to the cause, to all of our vital work that we do here. So we actually started the night with $35,000 in our Fund the Future pledges, but our goal is to get all the way to $100,000. You think we can do that? Yeah, hell yeah, I hear it. All right, so during dinner tonight, a lot of you already probably see it. There's some envelopes at your table, so please fill those out with what you can, and our staff and the 2024 Nisei Week Court is going to come around and collect those envelopes from you. And we really appreciate whatever you can do. So without further ado, I just want to, you know, roll us into our delicious dinner. So the best part of the night, there's a really great dinner prepared for you all with a lot of thought, a lot of care by Chef Roy Yamaguchi, of course, and as well as Chef Andreas Nieto and the Westfield Bonaventure Culinary team, and Chef Heather Campbell of King's Hawaiian. Ooh, a little dessert. So get very excited. I'll leave you to that. So let me just say itadakimasu, which of course in Japanese means I humbly receive this food. Enjoy. Thank you all.
Hello, everybody. We're back. Did you enjoy the meal? I mean, that's one of the big selling points of this. We have these fantastic chefs. We're going to tell you all about them in just a second. It's what makes our evening of Aloha so legendary. When you tell your friends about this event, they're all jealous, right? So this is fantastic. I hope you enjoyed yourself. A lot of talking out there, which we love. The fact that everybody's meeting each other, getting to know each other, and that's an important part of this organization as well. So it's hard to believe that this is the 23rd annual Evening of Aloha Gala, with a number of them. They were held at this Westin Bonaventure, so this has become a real tradition for us. We would like to acknowledge Peter Zen, Chef Andreas Nieto, and the hardworking culinary and catering staff, in particular Associated Catering Director Ali Michelle, for the warm hospitality and exceptional service that we have received at each gala. So give them a big round of applause. They do it every year, and they make it so warm and welcoming. We want to also take this opportunity to acknowledge an individual who works tirelessly behind the scenes to make this whole evening possible year after year. He's our good friend, Andy Nakano. If I know Andy, he's hiding somewhere. Andy, are you out there? He's not here, is he? He's either hiding or he's on the golf course. So, but Andy is wonderful. He serves as our liaison between the chefs and the hotel staff to make sure that every last detail is addressed. Andy was not able to join us, but we want to recognize his talents and generosity. And he's here year after year, and he's even done events at my house and helped me with those events. So thank you, Andy.
Thank you, David. Yes, so dinner was really amazing, but I gotta say, I think my favorite part, as it usually is the dessert. That was pretty darn oh no, hey? You guys get that one? Oh no? I had to Google it. All right. I'll give you all a second to do the same. No, for that, we have to give a special shout out for the dessert to King's Hawaiian Bakery and Restaurant. Heck yeah. They actually created that special dessert under the supervision of innovation pastry chef Heather Campbell. So we're so grateful for their dedicated and generous support through the years. King's Hawaiian is truly bringing aloha around the world, and tonight all of you get to take some aloha home with you. Their newest product, which is in your bags, it's Hawaiian pretzel bites. Yum, sounds pretty good. So a big thank you again to King's Hawaiian and the Tyra family, especially to Mrs. Tyra.
Welcome to the King's Hawaiian family. We'd like to share with you a little about ourselves.
Back in 1950, my father, he's the one who started the business. He lived on the Big Island. In the little town of Hilo is where he started, and that's where he built his first bakery. It was just a small storefront called Robert's Bakery after his name. His neighbor was a Portuguese family. The mother would make this fresh bread, and it was very sweet, rich, and soft. But after a day, it would turn to rock. So he started working on a recipe to extend the shelf life of this bread. And after several months of working on it, we have what we have today, what we call our Hawaiian sweetbread.
The recipe was a big hit, and the company grew. From Hilo to Honolulu, where tourists would send the bread home to family and friends, until King's Hawaiian became the #1 customer of the U.S. Postal Service in all of Hawaii. In 1977, we came to the mainland, and over the years, we've grown dramatically. First came our 30,000 square foot facility in Torrance, and in 1990, we added a second 40,000 square foot manufacturing facility. Demand grew, so in 2004, we opened our 150,000 square foot facility and property. In 2011, in Oakwood, Georgia, we opened a 120,000 square foot property. Yes, over the years, we've been fortunate to have experienced remarkable success with new products, new factories, breakthrough new marketing, and strong in-market placement and display, resulting in new customers coming to the brand every day. But two things remain the same: continuing to earn our customers' trust and our aloha spirit. Because sharing irresistible food and laughter with family and friends is what makes life sweet. What started as a family business over 60 years ago still is today.
Huge fans. Huge fans. The kindest people, salt of the earth this family is. They support so much. So thank you so much, King's Hawaiian. I'm a superstar in my household because I've learned how to make French toast with King's Hawaiian bread. And suddenly my daughter is like, she talks to me occasionally because of that. So thank you, King's Hawaiian. And by the way, another thing is nothing beats King's Hawaiian slider rolls at the barbecue. So try that out if you haven't yet. So thank you so much. Of course, what gives our galas an extra special touch is the dinner menu. It's created under the James Beard award-winning eyes and hands of none other than the talented chef Roy Yamaguchi. He is a superstar, but he's also a hero. So Roy's dishes and culinary creations are known around the world. We are fortunate that Roy also serves on our board of directors. Roy also is involved in another exciting venture, so let's take a look at that.
World-renowned restaurateur has been selected as the new executive director for the Culinary Institute of the Pacific at Kapiolani Community College. Chef Roy Yamaguchi's appointment was recently approved by the UH Board of Regents, and he's set to start on January 2nd. Yamaguchi earned his associate's degree at the Culinary Institute of America and went on to manage more than 40 restaurants worldwide. He's also the first person from Hawaii to receive the James Beard Best Chef Award. In his new role, he's responsible for overseeing the program and developing a new restaurant at Diamond Head, along with overseeing its operation. UH says Chef Yamaguchi will be donating his salary to the UH Foundation to fund scholarships for students.
And that's a small part of what Roy does. I think some of you folks here in the audience know that Roy has cooked a number of dinners at my house as fundraisers for Go for Broke. He's so generous in that regards, and if you ever saw my kitchen, that's really challenging. It's really, really tough. So he comes and does that. Then we all know about the Lahaina fires. And when they broke out, Roy was so gracious and supportive of the community. I went and visited him soon after the fires, and just the way he helped his employees, but also the community and gave back to the community. He's just been a wonderful part of not only our community, but the world's community, and we need more Roy Yamaguchi. So thank you, Roy.
And speaking of Roy being so giving, he's actually been very busy all evening in the hotel catering kitchen. But we again want to give our deepest appreciation to Chef Roy, the Bonaventure Hotel, and King's Hawaiian for another memorable evening of Aloha. Thank you.
All right, so I think we're going to lift those house lights up because there's some folks out there you need to meet. In addition to the many families of Nisei veterans with us tonight, let us also recognize again Congressman Mark Takano made that wonderful speech and has this amazing family. Mark, thank you so much for being with us today. Also joining us are State Assembly Member Al Muratsuchi from the 66th Assembly District of California. Al's out there somewhere. From the city of Alhambra, Council Member and Board Member Jeff Maloney. Huge fan of Jeff. And from the Japanese Consulate, Los Angeles, Consul General Kenko Sone and his wife, Madam Mamisone. Thank you so much. It's always great to see you guys here. One last person that I wanted to tell you about today that's a special guest, and I just met him tonight for the first time, although I've heard about him for quite some time. He is the very first Japanese-American Secret Service agent. He was in the camps, 6 years old, got out of the camps, and still wanted to serve his country. He had to lie about how tall he was, being 5'6", and the minimum height was 5'9". But he got in, and he served every president from Kennedy to Reagan, the only Japanese-American for generation after generation. Ladies and gentlemen, from table 19, Kazuo Yakura. Stand up. Thank you all for being here.
So earlier this evening, we paid tribute to the Japanese American soldiers who passed during the last year. It is a sad and sobering reminder that we are losing these treasured heroes much too quickly. However, this next segment has become a favorite part of our recent galas and has been a wonderful reminder that we are still blessed to have a good number of World War II veterans with us. Here to introduce the 5th annual Living Nisei Veteran World War II photo tribute is Spencer Tyra from King's Hawaiian. Let's welcome Spencer.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Spencer Tyra, and my grandfather was Robert Tyra. My grandfather was a member of the Military Intelligence Services and served in occupied Japan after World War II. During the post-war years in Japan, my grandfather observed the joy that baked goods brought to everyone's faces, especially the children. So it was from that moment where he really knew that he wanted to make a commitment to open a bakery once he returned to Hilo, Hawaii. The first bakery was appropriately named Robert's Bakery, and now it is known today as King's Hawaiian Bakery. As a descendant of a Nisei veteran, I know and feel the impact that my grandfather had on my family and the community. Equally important, I know and feel the contributions these men and women made for all of America. We are blessed to still have some of these heroes with us, and it gives me a great pleasure to introduce the 2024 Living Nisei Veteran World War II photo tribute, which includes 40 Nisei veterans from 7 states. 11 veterans are 99 years old, 5 veterans who are 100 years old, 6 veterans are 101 years old, 4 veterans are 102 years of age, and 1 at 103 years of age, and finally 1 veteran who is 104 years old. It's absolutely incredible. Please enjoy the tribute and give them a round of applause.
How great was that? Isn't it beautiful to see our vets? This is going to be a real special treat as well. At the top of the program, we were all treated to a spectacular version of the Star-Spangled Banner by Kendall Yokoyama. Well, Kendall is a huge supporter of Go for Broke and has performed here on this very stage with George Takei and Lauren Kincaid Wong as they sang songs from Allegiance. That was 2017 Evening of Aloha. Well, Kendall, her career has really taken off. She is big time now, in case you haven't heard. As we mentioned earlier, she is playing the lead role of Eliza in the first national tour of Hamilton at the Pantages Theater through October 13th. So she'll leave October 13th, so go and see her prior to that. My medical reporter, Denise Dodor, at work, asked me earlier this week if I knew her, and I told her I will someday, eventually. But Denise said, tell her that was the most amazing rendition of Born in all Hamilton history, and she sees a lot of these shows, so she's a huge fan, and I encourage you to do this as well. And now she took tonight off because of the mission of Go for Broke. It's so important to her. You see her great uncle, Sadaichi Kuboto, was a member of the 442nd. Her Jichan, Yoshio Mike Kubota, was a member of the MIS. And on a personal note, she is a Rubik's Cube master and a ramen enthusiast. But tonight, Kendall is dedicating the next song to her Jichan, to her great uncle, and all the Japanese American veterans of World War II, all of whom helped her achieve her dream. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Kendall.
Hi everyone, thank you so much for having me and for coming to this event. I would like to dedicate this song. I'm going to be singing The Impossible Dream to the Nisei veterans that are here, to my Jichan who was incarcerated at Jerome and Tule Lake, and to my other Jichan and great-grandfathers or great-uncles that fought in the war. And I would like to especially dedicate this song to my Bachan that is sitting over there. Her book's outside. But her and my aunt wrote a book together, and it's outside, so please go look at it. And then especially to Miss Mary Tamura. I don't know where you are, but I heard you were somewhere in this direction. Thank you so much for your service, and I hope you enjoy this song. To dream the impossible dream, to fight the unbeatable foe, to bear with unbearable sorrow, to run where the brave dare not go, to right the unrightable wrong, to love pure and chaste from afar, to try when your arms are too weary, to reach the unreachable star. This is my quest, to follow that star, no matter how hopeless, no matter how far, to fight for the right without question or pause, to be willing to march into hell for a heavenly cause. And I know if I'll only be true to this glorious quest, that my heart will lie peaceful and calm when I'm laid to my rest, and the world will be better for this. That one woman, scorned and covered with scars, still strove with her last ounce of courage to reach the unreachable star, to reach the unreachable star. Thank you.
Amazing. Let's hear it for Kendall Yokoyama, everyone. My goodness. Wow, that's incredible. She's currently performing, Hamilton as Eliza, so check her out in Pantages Theater. Normally, you'd have to pay for a full Broadway ticket to see that, but tonight for Go for Broke. Let's hear it again for Kendall. That was incredible. I love it. So, before dinner, you all heard about the exciting news about the new Go for Broke Plaza and how that expanded space, it's going to open up our work and our outreach. So here, to tell us a little bit more about all the incredible things happening at Go for Broke National Education Center are Kendra Motoyasu and Thomas Winter. Kendra and Thomas.
Good evening. I grew up believing that I could choose to pursue whatever I wanted to pursue, to be whoever I wanted to be, and to live wherever I wanted to live. I've gone to college and today I'm an actor. While this may not have been the path that our Nisei veterans might have been envisioning for themselves, the fact that I have had the opportunity to choose is the dream of our veterans of World War II.
And this story of the veterans is not just a great Japanese-American story, it's a great American story. It is the tale of the sons and daughters of immigrants who in one generation embodied the very best values of America and who dared to dream and fight for a more perfect nation, a nation of true equality.
At GFBNEC, we share the story and spirit of Go for Broke with individuals across the nation. Not simply as a story of guns, battles, and bullets, but as a story of personal civic involvement to uphold America's values and promise.
Our veteran stories are being told across the nation in various ways of programming. Check it out.
This year has been an exceptionally busy time for us. Along with the incredible new building, which you have heard about, there's a whole lot more activity that is going on.
Hidden Histories of World War II Teachers Workshop. Teachers from Oahu, Kauai, and Molokai attended this 5-day training.
I hope that our students are able to kind of see themselves in some of the history
so that they can connect it to their lives, the lives of their families.
Let's start with Boise, Idaho, where our traveling exhibit, Courage and Compassion, has just opened.
What we did in this particular venue is to really dig into the history of local Japanese Americans in the state of Idaho. They were affected in a variety of ways that were different than the Japanese Americans on the West Coast.
We didn't go to camp. We were volunteer evacuees.
The farmers were in need of sugar beet thinning, topping, picking out potato and so forth. So they helped the farmers a lot.
The day I left, the entire high school band came to railroad station, and gave me a good, fair send-off.
So there's a particular story of a Japanese American soldier who came from a small town in Lava Hot Springs. His white American friends had stood up for him, and he was so inspired by that he wanted to serve in the U.S. Army. He tried 3 times to enlist, but was denied each time because the Army didn't trust him. He persisted and was finally inducted into the Army, and he served courageously with the 442nd. In fact, he was in France at the Battle of the Rescue of the Lost Battalion, where he was killed in action. He received a Silver Star for his actions on that day, and his body is buried in a local cemetery in Lava Hot Springs. This is such an impactful story because he was such an Idaho boy. It didn't matter that his parents were immigrants from Japan. He had been born and raised in Idaho and through was an American.
Courage and Compassion has traveled to 14 cities across the nation, from Honolulu to Dallas to Chicago. The exhibit tells stories of incarceration, military valor, and everyday Americans doing the right thing in a time of crisis. From Idaho, let's go to the city of Glendale here in Southern California. Late last year, the city of Glendale created the Sadao Munamori Square right next to their city hall. We were proud to work with the LA Consul General, Kenko Sone, and the Glendale City Council in making this dedication happen.
As we face the sobering reality of confrontation and division in various places throughout the world, the naming of Sadao S. Munamori Square by the city of Glendale brings us great hope.
The internet has provided us with an unparalleled platform through which to share the story of the Japanese American soldiers of World War II. We have been engaging thousands of people through podcasts and social media posts.
Really, just the educational hour that I've got to spend with you, there's so much that I learned that I had no idea.
It's a lot to take in.
I was 10 years old in 1985. I remember Mr. Miyagi was part of the 442nd. So,
yes.
Like, however you come across things in life, I remember that standing out because I come from a military family.
Go for Broke resonated with me because of what the motto and the soldiers of the 100th and 442nd stood for.
And it's just bugging me that we just can't spend the next 8 hours talking like this. So that's a promise. We're gonna make this happen. Where there's a will, there's a way. We're going for broke, Doctor.
All right, I like it. Love it, love it, love it.
The Go for Broke National Education Center staff have presented the story of the Japanese American veterans and its impact on social justice across the nation.
We're a tiny but mighty team. Each and every one of us here has a sense of great responsibility, a sense of passion that we need to carry on this legacy.
This past year, we worked with students from Middlebury College in Vermont and International Christian University in Tokyo. They translated and provided subtitles for the documentary, Removed by Force, that chronicled the fight for redress by Japanese Americans in Hawaii. Additionally, we continue to release videos which tell the story of our veterans' courage, patriotism, and service. An upcoming video will highlight the contributions of the Military Intelligence Service. Let's take a sneak peek.
The War Department Intelligence Branch realized that to fight Japan, we needed to recruit Nisei and train them in military Japanese, and then use them to do the heavy lifting of the translating and interrogating prisoners.
I couldn't believe what I saw in there. It listed all the major weapons of the Japanese Imperial Army, the size, the type, this thing is hot,
The Nisei put their hearts into this. They wanted the suffering to end on both sides, and they were fighting with their hearts and minds to prove their own loyalty, but it was a personal battle to win the war.
Wow, that looks like it's going to be a good one. You will be able to see that video and all of our other videos on our YouTube channel. As you can see, we've been busy, but stay tuned. There's so much more to come.
But this story is more than just a history lesson. It is a way of connecting with our next generations and inspiring them to address the issues facing our nation today. We have been focusing on making sure that the lessons and legacy of our Nisei soldiers serves as a foundation for our next generation to make a difference in the future. Let's see what they've been up to.
The world has changed a great deal since World War II, and in some ways, it hasn't. How does one inspire the young generations of today and tomorrow with a story that occurred 80 years ago?
500 proud members of the 442nd Infantry Regiment, mostly American-born Japanese, swings down Constitution Avenue in Washington for another ceremony in their honor.
The story doesn't change. I think the way that we tell it is going to change.
The Go for Broke National Torchbearer program inspires the next gen to listen.
To buy into the Nisei story is to buy into the power of our democracy.
Empathize.
My uncle passed away. I found out in his obituary, you know, that he had served. I don't think I've been more proud to say that I was Japanese American.
Reflect and engage with contemporary issues of today.
I come from a background of immigrants, so I kind of understand having to prove yourself to other people that you are American.
We have connected with young adults from across the nation, from Maui to Vermont, to discuss the current challenges and dilemmas facing our nation. We held our first ever National Torchbearer convening in June of 2023 and continue strengthening the program in our success of the second year in April of 2024. The Torchbearers were able to experience and engage with other communities during their visitations to Honolulu, San Francisco, Denver, Chicago, and Middlebury, Vermont. We use the veteran story to inspire them anywhere they go.
Imagine you're all 20 years old. Your family has lost their businesses, they've lost your homes, you're in the middle of a desert surrounded by barbed wire, and now the government is saying, we want you to go and fight for liberty and justice halfway around the world. How many of you say, send me?
The Torchbearer program has enabled me to learn about American history that you don't see in the classroom, you don't see at schools.
There's so much division, and to have 20 of us get into a space with a smile on our face, eating ramen, and talking about it is just an incredible thing.
The National Torchbearer program is just one way in which Go for Broke National Education Center is using the Nisei Veterans story to inspire members of our next gen.
If you don't know your history, you're doomed to repeat it. And I think that Torchbearers is something that aims to exactly tackle that issue.
Coming together and building a future together so we can make a difference in this world.
The young Nisei veterans of World War II are the ideal model for the Torchbearers, exploring the why we do what we do when we're inspired to act, what the risks are when we're inspired to act, and what consequences may come if we choose instead to stay silent.
In 2022, we created and launched the Go for Broke Journalism Institute in partnership with Downtown Magnets High School and the Los Angeles chapter of the Asian American Journalists Association. We are thrilled to celebrate a successful third year of the program this summer, where the students receive top-notch journalism training from the LA Times, Washington Post, New York Times, and ABC, and they were provided didactic presentation and personal mentorship.
I said all the things I'm going to share with you today on how to write a story.
This is my toolkit, and I'm emptying it for you.
The students created journalistic pieces from written, podcasts, and audiovisual projects that all tie back to the story of the Japanese American soldiers of World War II.
My project was called Immigration in Our Lives. It was about the struggles that my dad went through to prove his worth as an American, just like the Nisei veterans did.
You really don't need to be Japanese American to understand the hurt and pain that the Nisei veterans went through.
It was significant to me because at school they don't go into detail about it.
Experiencing racism, I didn't really think about it much as a kid because it was kind of normalized. Hearing this story really inspired me to speak up.
My project was about Coswell Masuda. I kind of talked to my dad about that, and I asked him if he would fight for his country that turned his back on him, and surprisingly he said yes. And he told me that my mother and my grandmother were immigrants and they came to give us a better life. And he said sometimes you just have to fight for what you believe in. I was applying for a USC Annenberg Journalism Institute, and they were asking for a writing sample, and I thought that this would be the absolute perfect piece.
In addition to being accepted into the USC Annenberg Journalism Institute this past summer, Lizzie has spoken publicly about the power of the Nisei story.
The opportunities and privileges that we have are due to those that came before us.
So don't let anyone tell you that the Nisei Veterans story is just an 80-year-old story that is fading away. The story is alive and well, and it continues to inspire and shape the values of our future generations.
If the younger generations consider things like liberty, freedom from tyranny, which is part of America. If generations to come consider these gifts sufficiently precious, then I think that all the bleeding, the dying, and the suffering we went through would be worth it.
So, as you can see, there's lots to be excited about here at Go for Broke National Education Center. Being a torchbearer has been such a special part of my life for the past few years. I've traveled across states and met others who know and appreciate these veterans' stories. But more importantly, I've met others who didn't know, and I've been able to share the Go for Broke legacy with them in ways that inspires courage, sacrifice, and service in our next generations. So thank you for your support in helping us preserve this precious story of the World War II veterans of Japanese American descent and
equally important, promoting America's promise into the future. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Kendra and Thomas. I want to mention Kendra is the current National Vice Chair of Go for Broke's Torchbearers, and Thomas is the great-nephew of Yosh Nakamura. He's also an actor who recently starred in the East-West Players' Spring Awakening with the Tamlin Tomita. So thank you again, Kendra and Thomas, for being a part of tonight. So I don't know about all of you, but it's been a pretty exciting time for Go for Broke and the sharing of the Nisei Soldiers story. You know, we have engaging next-gen programming and a traveling exhibit, Journalism Institute, new lesson plans, and to top it all off, of course, a new building on the way. Very exciting. But I did want to give and recognize the generosity of 2 tables sponsored in memory of Kazuo and Mary Yamane for our journalism and Go for Broke legacy scholarship students. Let's hear it for them. And we have 1 table for our torchbearers donated by April Nakamura. Thank you. Please stand and be recognized. Is our torchbearers table here? Yes? Oh yes, April Nakamura and our torchbearers, please stand. We would love to recognize you for being the keepers of this next generation, the caretakers of the Nisei Veterans core story. And the truth is, none of this would have been possible without all of you. So thank you, domo arigato, muchas gracias, and mahalo for your support in continuing their legacy. Now, I did want to bring up something, a little pattern, you know. We've had so many people come on stage tonight who are, you know, descendants of Japanese American World War II veterans, you know, like myself, like Kendall, like Thomas. But David, I was going to ask, are you a descendant?
Am I?
Yeah, personally?
No, I talk about this quite a bit. I'm kind of feeling like an interloper sometimes, but my family came here after the war from Japan, but being a journalist, that's how I kind of got integrated in this wonderful story.
Okay. Well, you don't have to worry. You didn't seem worried, but maybe you really don't, because we have a surprise for you. Hit it.
Hello, David. Thank you so much for what you do for all the Nisei vets. We appreciate all that you do. And in fact, we'd like to have you part of our family. So welcome to the Nakamura family, David.
Yeah, Yosh, so Yosh is, I know you're out there somewhere. Yosh, are you adopting me? Is that what you... I'm like the oldest adoptee in the history of the world, but I'll take it. You know, But in all seriousness, I think that's so wonderful because I love Yosh. Yosh has supported me for so many years, but as you know, with this Defining Courage show, he has been willing to come to everyone and come and meet the audience afterwards. And to see how the audience feels about meeting a real life hero and the way they light up. It's just a wonderful opportunity for them as well as Yosh. And there's so many things we don't talk about. Every year Yosh has joined me in May at Disneyland, and we do a special show for the employees, the cast members of Disney, for AAPI and Memorial Day. And I bring Yosh in, we have a panel discussion, and then Yosh signs autographs and takes photos and meets everybody, and the people are so moved. And he is just a blessing, a true blessing. And now I have a father that I can share retirement plans with, so I'm super, super excited about that. But from the heart, thank you so much, Yosh, and all you do, and all the veterans out there. Thank you.
Congratulations, David Ono Nakamura, everyone, for the first time tonight. All right, so it is now the moment to hear from someone who needs no introduction, but we're going to give him one anyway, all right? Whose voice we all know and who inspires us with his passion and his dedication to carry on the veterans' legacy every day. He's also someone who, along with his small but hardworking staff, works tirelessly and truly lives the Nisei Veterans Dream. He also might have written this. Please welcome Go for Broke National Education Center's President and CEO, Dr. Mitchell Mackey, everyone.
Good evening, everyone. Are you having a good time? Oh, come on, folks. This is the 23rd annual Evening of Aloha. Are you having a good time? All right. And what do you think about our MCs? Sierra Katow, David Ono Nakamura. Let's give them a round of applause. I've been waiting all night to come out and say to all of you, thank you. Thank you for being here. You know, I've had the privilege of being the president of Go for Broke National Education Center for the last 8 years. And I can honestly say that this is the best job that I have ever had. Every day is filled with me hanging out with my heroes and hearing their stories. And then I get to tell those stories across the nation. As some of you know, my parents were from Hawaii. So as such, my family wasn't incarcerated during World War II. But I remember as a 10-year-old boy first hearing about the incarceration and the concentration camps. And I thought, it couldn't be Japanese Americans like my mom and dad and like me. It must have been the Japanese from Japan or the Japanese soldiers or something. And I remember realizing when no, it was Japanese Americans, like my mother, like my father, like me, who were incarcerated. And I was devastated. How? How could this happen in America to Americans? And then I remember learning the story of the men of the 100th Battalion and the 442nd Regimental Combat Team, the most highly decorated unit of their size in American military history. And then learning about the men and women who served in the Military Intelligence Service, in the WACs, and in the Nurse Cadet. And I have to be honest with you, at first I couldn't believe that story either, because it just didn't fit with the 1970s narrative of who Japanese Americans were. But when I realized that, in fact, this was all historical truth, this 10-year-old Japanese American boy was filled with pride and with a sense of place at the American table of citizenship. And now I get to share that pride across the nation with so many individuals who have no idea that this chapter in American history ever occurred. As I said, this is the best job that I've ever had, but it is also the most challenging. Over the last 8 years, I've gotten to know my heroes as human beings, and I've fallen in love with them, and I've had to say more goodbyes than I care to mention. Tonight, we've been talking a lot about dreams and promises. The Nisei Dream for a fair and equitable nation. The Nisei Soldiers' Dream for liberty and justice for all. The Nisei's Dream for America's promise. And there's one other promise that I'd like to touch on with all of you, and that's a promise that many of us in this room have made to our own fathers and grandfathers, to our own mothers and grandmothers, our own uncles and aunts, that their legacy and their dreams will not be forgotten. You know, it's no secret that our nation is going through a tremendous time of turmoil, a tremendous time of self-examination. There's so much division in our nation right now, and we are at risk of losing all of these dreams. In 1982, the Commission on Wartime Relocation and Internment of Civilians issued its findings about the concentration camps. And they said that they were wrong, and that they were the result of wartime hysteria, race prejudice, and a failure of political leadership. As we travel the nation, sharing the stories of the Japanese American experience, these words, wartime hysteria, race prejudice, and a failure of political leadership, resonate with our audiences, whether they be students or teachers or seniors who lived through that time. And not only do these audiences appreciate how these words accurately described 1942, but they also appreciate how these words address and describe 2024. And at the same time, these same audiences embrace and genuinely appreciate the values of our Nisei veterans. Selfless sacrifice, courage in the face of death, service to others, and a vision for a better America. As one of our torchbearers, Emiko Krantz, once said, the legacy of our Nisei veterans is that they fought for the future of those they loved and those that they would never know. What higher ideal is there? What higher aspiration can we as Americans strive for? And what story embodies these values better than the story of our Nisei veterans? Tonight, we are here to raise some funds. So, folks, I ask you, let's raise some funds. Help us to make sure that we continue to cultivate young adults into torchbearers who will be able to take this story and apply it to contemporary issues. Help us to continue to have a journalism institute that will not only teach the story to young high school students, but teach them how to tell that story, how to write about that story, and to share it with generations to come. Help us to continue to have our traveling exhibit so that we can take this story into communities and share it in a way that these communities adopt the story as their own and not see it as some exotic Japanese American story. In front of you at your tables, you have the envelopes and you have the cards. And I ask you tonight to please consider making a donation to support our work. For those of you, because I saw some of you who have already filled out the cards, thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you not only for your support, but thank you for believing in the work that we do. And as I say every year, remember, there is no rule that says you cannot fill out more than one card. So fill out as many as you want. And as you all are thinking now about how many zeros you want to put on that card, let me take this opportunity to share a very special video with you. I want to introduce to you the world premiere of a very special rendition of God Bless America. It was arranged by our good friend and Grammy Award winner Daniel Ho. He's accompanied by the community musical icon Jun Kuramoto, guest appearance by the well-known actor Tamlin Tomita, a host of Go for Broke supporters who are singing as a choir, and most special, 3 very guest appearances by 3 Nisei veterans, Ed Nakamura, Yosh Nakamura, and Tokyo Shihashi. I think you're going to enjoy this. Check it out.
God bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the night with the light from above. From the mountains to the prairies to the oceans wide with far. God bless America, my home sweet home. God bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the night with the light from above. From the mountains to the prairies to the oceans wide with far. God bless America, my home sweet home. God bless America, my home sweet
I hope you enjoyed watching that as much as we enjoyed putting it together. I remember that Sunday morning when all of us came together, people of different backgrounds, different ages, coming together to pay homage to our Nisei veterans and coming together to claim that common ground that we still share as Americans. God bless America. Okage-sama de. Because of our veterans, we are. Because of our veterans, we will continue to be. Thank you for being here. Thank you for your support. Good night, everyone.
Wonderful. Thank you, Mitch, for your inspiring words, your leadership, your dedication to broadly expand and enhance the work at Go for Broke National Education Center. It is the continued efforts of each generation to share the Go for Broke spirit, their legacy, their values, to protect the freedoms and liberties the soldiers so valiantly fought for. Those are also important, those messages. And I want to recognize the diligent staff and volunteers who keep our gala organized, on time. Such an exceptional event every year. Well, let's give them a big round of applause. Another beautiful show in the books for us tonight. And let me also thank my co-host Sierra Katow for bringing a breath of fresh air and youthfulness to the show, this program here. You did a wonderful job, Sierra.
Means a lot coming from the man who doesn't age. David Ono, everyone. Let's hear it for David. It's really been an honor, just to even share the stage with you, so I appreciate it. And on behalf of the Nisei veterans with us, and for those who remain in our hearts, we thank all of the sponsors, donors, guests. Stay connected with us on our social media and our eTorch monthly newsletters, which you can find on our website. Go to www.goforbroke.org. And also, don't forget to finish your shopping on the way out. That's right, that's still going. You can go at the Go for Broke shop tables out front. It's also online, too. And if you have not done so, you can still contribute to our Fund the Future annual campaign. Those envelopes are still at your table, I'm sure. And this year's gala, it will all be rebroadcast on YouTube, on our YouTube channel. So you can share that with your family, share it with your friends, let them know about the delicious dinner you got to have and they didn't, but also share them on everything that's been going on. So to formally close the 23rd annual Evening of Aloha Gala, if everyone would please rise, we will now retire the colors. Please be safe, be well.
Permission to retire the colors. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much. Don't forget Japangela's. Order your items, your Go for Broke items through Japangela's, the back of your brochure. Let's all mix, share our numbers, stay in touch. Thank you all, ladies and gentlemen.